That was many years ago. And here you are pushing your grocery cart into the checkout line, and there are all the impulse purchases to be made. And among them is a rack of DVDs of cheap movies and paperback books. And one of them catches your eye. You recognize the photo of a woman. The title of the book, Joyriding. The woman, Judy Dodd, as told too. The groceries are put away, the dinner dishes are done, and now you sit down to thumb through Judy's book. The light came on over the jury room door. A verdict had been reached. The jury filed in silently. No one looking at Mario Dodd, I noticed. And the foreperson handed a piece of paper to the bailiff. The bailiff handed it to the clerk, and the clerk read. In the matter of the United States versus Mario Dodd, on count 1, conspiracy to commit bank robbery, we the jury find the defendant guilty. Count 2, bank robbery, we the jury find the defendant guilty. I saw Mario's shoulders sag and his head drop, and his lawyer put his hand on his back. And I must admit I was a little surprised myself. After all, I had testified in the trial. I was there throughout most of it. I was there throughout most of what happened. And I remembered that the jury didn't hear any evidence against Mario that his fingerprints were on the note or anywhere else. There was no video that showed him robbing the bank. No bank bills caught with him, even though he had a sum of money and explained it. No one actually identified him in court. Phone calls made from places that put him outside San Antonio. And you remember, I remember the terrified teller who said that the man who came up to her and stuck a gun in her face was wearing a bandana, a hat, sunglasses, but she could see a mole. She could see a mole on the right side of his face. Larry Wrench went in that bank. I was in the car. I watched him go in with a sawed-off shotgun. And I watched the other man go in with him. The man that two witnesses said were about the same size as Larry Wrench. Mountain, biggin. Mario Dodd was not the same size as Larry Wrench. I ought to know. But Larry, he played his part, and he took his 5 years. He dodged his 30 years in prison, and like a man, he went off and did his time. There was a reward for him for waiting when he got out. The third man, and the money, $30,000. Some people thought I put it in the mail and mailed it somewhere. Come on. Who was that third man? Well, that, dear reader, will remain a mystery. Joyriding, that's the name of this book. Joyriding, defined as riding around in cars with no particular place to go, usually stolen cars. Now, maybe I deserve the one description that Mario's lawyer gave of me during the trial, but it stung a little bit. I repeat it for you. That like a spent cigarette butt, Judy Dodd flicked Mario out the window and left him strewn along the highway of her joyriding life. Well, you decide. You decide. Members of the jury, here sits a man who for his entire adult life and even for part of his childhood has worked hard every day with his hands. An honest day's work for honest wages. His hands are true. Here sits a man whose heart fell open to a woman, and not just to her, but to her two children, children that were not his own by birth, but children to whom he opened his heart and let into his life like he did her. And for days at a time, he would pace at night after putting those children to bed. Where's my wife? Where is Judy? But he would take those children in his strong arms, and like any good parent, even though they missed their mother, he would let his face and his voice convey to them, all is okay, everything's all right, kids. I will take care of you. Here sits a man who is honest, who is true, who is faithful, and who was betrayed, whose heart was crushed by that woman. Here sits a man who would never walk up to a woman in a bank, point a gun at her, pass her a note, and steal. I have done all I could do for Mario Dodd as his lawyer, and it has been my honor and privilege to be his lawyer. I have come to care for him and to take care of his case the best way I know how. And there comes a time in every trial, and we're at that moment now, when I am at the end of what I can do for him. But his story is not yet written. There is one more chapter to be told. And what I'm asking you to do is don't let this book be written, but instead write a different story with a different ending. Write a story that is true and is good and is honest. Write a story that ends with the words, not guilty.